Don't change that dial. This is the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagee, financial advisors and the founder of Allon Planning Partners. I'm Spike Spangle. Jay, Brittany, it's great to see you. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
Hello.
Wonderful,
You too,
wonderful.
Spike.
Thanks for having us.
Well, today you said you wanted to talk about a shift. A shift. What kind of shift for retirement did you want to discuss today?
Well, what we find so often is that folks really struggle in making this mental transition from the working years into their retirement years. And it really has to do with being able to spend what they've spent their whole life saving for, right? So there's a lot of transitions that happen in that phase of life, but one that really hangs people up is the mental piece of it all. Watching their account not grow maybe as much as it did, or maybe being solely focused on accumulation, but shifting to, yes, I want to continue to grow it, but I also have to live on these funds. That's a really challenging thing.
Yeah, we have to retrain our mind because we've spent 30 or 40 years in one direction, and that direction is growth and accumulation, and we have to make sure we're making as much as we can out of the dollars that we're saving so that one day we can spend these dollars. And so the problem is a lot of people get stuck in a couple of ditches. One ditch is saying, like, I can't spend anything because I've done nothing but save, so I can't change my mindset. And the other is, I'm going to keep living the way I was living whenever I was in the accumulation phase, and I'm going to keep spending and keep going the way I've always have, keep investing the way I always have. And neither one of those are correct for the distribution phase. We have to have a mental shift because everything changes. Now you have to go from not just what average return looks like over a 30-year period, but what the sequence of those returns look like over year over year over year as I'm pulling money out. So it is a hard mental shift, but we have to make that, and I see it every day in the office. We're always helping people make that shift of saving and spending, and how do I make sure that I don't fall off the mountain that I've just climbed up for the last 30 years and kill myself, right? That's really what's going on.
Is every dollar the same and every dollar as powerful in retirement? I mean, we know that some of our accounts, they're tax deferred. We've got Social Security, but Social Security isn't totally tax-free. I guess we're trying to figure out, how do we come down that mountain, and which accounts do we take from?
Well, and that's the key, right? It is like this mountain climb. We spend our whole lives ascending this mountain to get to the pinnacle of retirement. At least that's what we're taught. Like, these are your working years, and this is what you're working towards, to complete your career and to be able to retire. But when you get to the top of the mountain, that's not the end of the story, right? There's a lot more life to live. And so you have to ensure that you can get down the mountain, get down the descent, just as you did the ascent. And we were watching this documentary recently, Jay and I, and it was about this mountain climber. I mean, it was just phenomenal, unbelievable what this guy had done. How many times he had done this incredible feat of climbing numerous mountains, Mount Everest being one of them. And he talked about how most of the injuries happen on the descent.
That's right.
And it really is the exact same when it comes to our financial situation. You have so many hangups, so many pitfalls, so many, breaks in the path that could really trip you up as you come down the mountain. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to hit some of those so that you can ensure you're not getting stuck in those places.
Yeah, and to your point, Spike, you should have different types of accounts, right? You can't have all tax-deferred accounts. You need some taxable accounts, like some brokerage accounts and things like that are working in it that way in the tax system. You have to have some Roth and some tax-free accounts. You have to know not just how many accounts you need to have, but where I should pull from each account when. So an income plan is super important. We worked with someone here recently that they had saved way more than they needed to even retire for their lifestyle comfortably, right? And that's very individualistic for every person, what you need to have saved for the lifestyle you have. So they had more than enough, and they retired, but they could not bring themselves to spend the money. They were really still cutting coupons, like trying to figure out, how do I save more? How do I save more? And so it's really a fear-based mentality that I'm going to run out of money. And so when we really sat down and put this income plan together for this family, we were able to show them, here's what you can comfortably spend and never have a fear of running out of money. And so what that really did was bring freedom to their life because they had more than enough. It's just a mental shift of I've got to stop living out of fear of lack, and I'm going to fear that I'm going to lose everything, that I can actually comfortably spend this and have a plan that dictates that, not just a hope or a feeling or I hope it works out. But we absolutely love to see people get it and have freedom brought to their lives.
Yeah,
through
and
the
it's
income
not the
plan.
cutting coupons that's bad, right? We all want to make the most of what we have.
That's right.
We want to protect what we
fear.
have.
Yeah.
But the trigger for them was the fear that they couldn't even spend what they did have, right? And so you've got to have both. Yes, we want to protect and use what we have wisely, but there
Yes.
comes a time where we've saved for this moment. This is the moment. Let's use what we have saved for. And that's where, when you actually have a plan in place to make those, to take those distributions, to look at taxes and to make sure there's no big surprises there, to create the income you need, when you've actually planned accordingly, you can do it. You can do it with peace of mind, you can do it with ease, and you can dissipate that fear that surrounds it.
One part of the mind shift, so we're talking about shifting today. Some people might have this fear because they're afraid, well, I'm done working, we're not saving anymore, and the money doesn't grow. Are we completely moving money over into, this goes in the savings account, this is no longer growing, and is that where the fear is coming from?
A lot of times that's where fear is coming from, because it's like, okay, now I've got to take this money that's been growing and the markets are doing really well, and then I've just got to put it under the mattress, right? That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to show you appropriate spending patterns and appropriate buckets that you have to place these accounts in. So we're going to have a safety bucket that you never have to worry about running out or losing that money. It's still going to be growing. It's not going to be under the mattress, but then we're going to have a midterm bucket and a long-term bucket. We're still going to have growth funds. We're still going to make sure that, your retirement should be lasting 20 to 30 years. So we have to make sure that we're still producing enough funds in the growth bucket that you can utilize funds 20 years from now for this lifestyle. And inflation's a real thing, right? So we can't go all to safety, but you have to make appropriate shifts in order to be able to spend now and not be afraid of running out later.
When we come back from this break, we have a fun visual. We're going to try to show you exactly why it's so important, where you take the money from, in what sequence. So don't go anywhere. But we're going to continue this conversation. We want to make sure that you get your income plan. And folks, it is no cost for you to reach out to the phone number below, set your own time, come on into the office. Let's have this conversation together. More of the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany right after this.
I'm Brad Johansson with Jay Hagee. Jay, in a minute, I'm worried about running out of money.
Well, Brad, you're not alone. One of the biggest fears of most retirees is actually running out of money. And honestly, that fear makes sense. You might spend 30 years building your nest egg, but retirement could last just as long. That's why retirement isn't about having a big number, it's about having a plan. That means smart withdrawal strategies, investments that balance growth and protection, and planning for things like inflation, longer life expectancy, and rising healthcare costs. A steady, reliable income stream and diversified portfolio can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. When you have a real plan, you don't have to wonder if your money will last. You can know. And that confidence is what turns retirement from stressful into secure.
The minute ends here. But the real planning starts when you reach out to Allon Planning Partners, because your story deserves more than a minute.
You've worked hard for your money, so it just makes sense that you would like to keep as much of it as possible. At Allon Planning Partners, we can help you avoid common tax mistakes. We'll work with you to minimize your tax burden in an effort to maximize your income in retirement. We will ensure that you have a comprehensive written financial plan. Call the number you see here for your complimentary consultation.
Everyone seems to have an opinion when it comes to filing for Social Security. Some people think you should file early. Others believe you should wait as long as possible. The truth is, there is no universal right answer. The right plan is the one that fits your life, your goals, and your needs. Scan the QR code or visit waitorfile.com to get your personalized Social Security report. It'll show what's really at stake between your different filing options. Getting the proper guidance could make a meaningful difference in your retirement.
Welcome back to the Allon Exchange with Jay and Brittany Hagee of Allon Planning Partners, your financial advisors. Okay, forget me over here. What do we have going on?
Well, our kids love games. I mean, like, love games. So we do these game nights. They're all, hey, let's play a game, let's play a game. So Jenga is a game that we play occasionally. And this really will help us illustrate this whole concept that we're talking about. So we're talking about the mindset shift that happens from when we're climbing up the mountain, we get to retirement, and then we've got to begin coming down the mountain, and the mental shift that occurs at that point from saving, only saving and growing, to taking distributions while we're also trying to continue to grow as well, right? So this is going to illustrate for us today the importance of how we take funds from certain accounts and when we take those funds.
And when is the most important, and the where is important too, because you do not want to pull from your foundation too soon. Because if you start pulling from your foundation too soon, you can topple over. But it is okay to pull from some of the higher tiers. And so we do have some labels on these things, and some things that you absolutely have to pull out. You have to have food. Like, we have to eat. And so I can't see them on this side.
Well,
so.
I see medical, food
right there.
and taxes, long-term care.
You got to take a withdrawal for basic necessities.
Right? You have to eat.
Right.
You have to pay taxes. Your Uncle Sam's not going to let us out of paying taxes. We have to do that. And so you have to know where to pull from, because, if I started trying to pull down here too soon, my foundation starts getting weaker, right? And so that's some of the maybe higher tax buckets, or you take it the wrong time because the taxes are going to cost you more than they should. So you need to know, am I pulling from a taxable account, a tax deferred account, or a tax free account? And so sometimes you don't have a choice because, hey, I had a medical emergency, so I've got to pull from this bucket down here. And so you pull here, and it's still.
But here's the thing: you're pulling from here. You're not pulling from here.
That's right.
If I pulled this one out right now, this whole thing would topple over.
That's right.
That would make an absolute mess.
The good news is, through this, as you've seen, we've pulled out 3, and what happens in the game of Jenga? You
still
pile
stable.
it back on top, right? It's still stable, but you still pile it back on top. There's still growth in your accounts. It's not going to fall apart because you have to spend a little bit of money here in the middle. Now, the only time it starts falling apart is if we are pulling from the wrong place at the wrong time. And so you have to have a unique strategy for you to pull at the right place at the right time, so this tower continues to grow taller and the tower don't topple over. And so the fear is, most people have, is my tower's gonna topple over way before I run out of life, right? Like, I'm gonna run out of money before I run out of time. And so that's why you need a strategy. Planning matters. And so we have to have the appropriate allocation. So we have to have the growth buckets, the safety buckets, the midterm buckets, and we have a specific plan for each one of those. But you also have to have the right tax buckets. And so where you pull these from and when absolutely matter. There are going to be emergencies. There's going to be things that come up. There's going to be all kind of things that we have to pull from right here. Maybe there's the vacation that we want to take, right? And that's okay. You need to enjoy some of these funds in retirement. It's not just all for emergencies, and that's where the mind shift comes in too, is that, oh man, I can't enjoy this. I've got to just use this for only emergencies and only necessities, because if I start enjoying this too much, I lose it. Okay? If you are frivolous and you continue to enjoy more than you should, yes, you can. But most people we meet with aren't that way. They have a harder time spending these funds than they are just lackadaisical about them. And so we want to help you put together a strategy where you know exactly where to pull from and when, so that we can keep growing your tower over time.
Could I ask, in your opinion, maybe there's a few different accounts with this baseline of the 3 blocks down there, maybe another 3 that are going now, what would be some of that baseline that would create more risk for folks? Would that be like taking directly from a 401k when the market is down?
Yes.
What kind of things that are the base that you want to make sure you don't take from maybe right away.
So that's why you have to have different types of accounts, because the sequence in the returns of your allocation absolutely matter. So if the markets are really down in a year, you have to make sure maybe you're not pulling from all your tax deferred buckets, your 401ks, things like this, because that is going to cause instability. And so not only when you have to pull out one for that year, let's just say we have to pull out one, if you take from the wrong place at the wrong time, we may have to pull out two. We may have to pull out two. Why do we have to pull out two? Is because one is for what you actually need. The other is because the market went down. And so if you pull out two, I don't know where we can even pull from without making this thing more unstable, because the market just took some from us, right? So we have to make sure that we're pulling from the right place, because when we're in retirement, we need to pull from these places up here, because we only have to pull one if we're in a safety bucket. If we're in a safety bucket, the market didn't take any more from us. Down here, we had to pull because the market took from us. So we have to make sure the sequence of our returns and our allocation structure match, so that we don't overpay Uncle Sam and that we don't get hurt too much on a market downturn.
Well, and when you took from here, that was a double hit.
That's right.
Like the tower experienced a double hit because of the market losses, taking the withdrawal you needed to live on, but then the market dropped too. That's a painful loss there. And so this is also where Social Security comes into play. The timing in when you file for Social Security, when you begin taking that, because that's income too. That's a piece of this tower, this puzzle.
That you don't have to pull from if you take Social Security, right?
Yeah. So you've got to prepare for that and really strategize, most importantly, around the timing. We don't have as many options as we used to have when it comes to filing strategies for Social Security, but timing matters, especially for couples. When you are planning with Social Security, you should plan together and actually strategize together when you begin one check versus the other, the timing of that, how to make the most of that benefit you're receiving. Not just get it now, get it quick, because hey, it feels good to have that extra $2,000 in my budget each month or whatever. But looking at not just how it impacts you now, but how it impacts you later, so that you don't experience things like he just did, right? The double hit.
Instability.
We want to prevent those double hits, because that really shortens the lifespan of your savings.
That's right.
And if you've ever played this game with friends or even playing with the kids, it seems like every game ends up differently. I mean, you have a bit of a strategy in your head. You can read books online about how do I withdraw, but the game turns out differently depending on who you're playing with and playing against. So is it the same when you're doing income planning for folks, that it's never the same?
It absolutely is. And so here's the cheat code. The cheat code is have a structural engineer working on your team. And so we are that engineer for folks. We help provide where you should take these from, the funds from, when you should take them, when you should turn on Social Security, how you should place these in the right allocation strategies. If I'm just reading an online book to say, like, man, I think I could take from this segment but not this segment, or oh man, I need a new car, so whether I feel like I can take it from here or not, I'm taking it because that's what I would just want to do. Like, that's going to end up in disaster. But if you have a guide that says, I know every strategic point that you can actually pull from without this tower falling over, you're going to win the game. And so that's what we want to help you do. We want to help you win the game of income planning in your retirement. Help you make sure that this tower is stable for as long as possible, and that we continue to grow on top of it without causing undue stress. And so that's what we step in and do, and we are the cheat code when it comes to income planning.
Because you can have two people with the same scenario of life, right? The same overall situation, but the pattern in what they take from where and when will change the whole picture. The whole experience could be different. So the taxes could look different, better for one than the other, just because they pulled from a different place than the other, right? Same with like long-term care, medical, or basic expenses even. I mean, where you pull from and when can make all the difference in the big picture.
That's right.
Folks, if you are randomly using your accounts to withdraw and create income in retirement, we're hoping that you get the visual. You need to have a strategy. Whether it's like Jenga, we want to make sure that your accounts last as efficiently as possible, as long as possible, stably as possible. If you would like to know exactly what that looks like for you, it is no cost for you to call the phone number right now on the bottom of the screen and schedule a time. Come on in. we'll put your pieces of the puzzle together. More of the Allon Exchange right after this.
You have to have a plan. You know, from what I found, we call it the sleep well at night plan, the SWAN plan.
Yeah, a comprehensive plan is extremely important for individuals, families, couples, anyone who is working with their finances. You've got to have more than just an investment.
If we have a plan and know that we can follow step by step a plan that's going to get us to our ultimate goal, we can have trust in that plan to anchor us in those tumultuous times.
And so we're able to really show them, hey, there's all these other things that really come into play.
So it's real important for us to really create those unique plans for people. And it's not just like, well, my neighbor's doing this, so I'm okay.
You got to think about your taxes. You got to think about your health care. You know, you got to think about a number of things that really impact the whole of your financial situation, especially for couples. And we talk about this a lot, that at minimum, both spouses should at least be informed.
Ultimately, we want everyone to not just, be wandering through life and hope that they make it to the goals that they have. We want to put a written step-by-step plan together so that you actually know how to get to those financial goals. Because if you don't have a plan in place to get you through some of those times and you don't have financial security, that's something else that is added to that stress level that can push you overboard.
Welcome back. You are with Jay and Brittany Hagee, financial advisors, founders of Allon Planning Partners. I'm Spike Spangle. Today we're playing a little bit of game of income Jenga.
Yes.
Now, it looks like it's put all together. So let's say this is right before our retirement. We've got our savings. We're together on the same page with our spouse. We're trying to be confident. Looks pretty good. Where do we start pulling from?
Why does strategy matter is what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Strategy matters not only in games like Jenga, but in life. More importantly, your income in retirement. Strategy matters. And so if I walk into retirement and I think, I need $5,000 a month to live on. That's just living expenses, okay? I'm going to have to start pulling out every month $5,000, right? And you're hoping that the market's going to make it up on the way. And so like, hey, I think I should pull from here. I think I should pull from there. I'm going to pull from here. Here's another month to go and buy $5,000. Here's another month that goes by $5,000 that I have to live on. And I keep trying to hope this tower stays up as I continue to pull out. And I haven't really thought through the planning concepts of which accounts I'm pulling from, how my accounts are allocated. I just retired, left it in a 401k and hope that it keeps growing as I pull it out, right?
Well, and let me speak to that before you keep going, because that's what a lot of folks do. They have their 401k and they're just like, I've got my savings. I'll just pull from it when I need it. And it's a simple just I'll pull it when I need it, which is a haphazard approach.
Yeah, and I still need money every month. And so I've got to find a brick that moves. I've got to find something that moves. I've got to find more money every month that I can continue to utilize, right? And so here we're 5-6 months into retirement. We're still trying to find pieces that move. Oh, there's one, I can do that one. We've got $5,000 here. Maybe the market went down this month too. So, oh man, I lost $4,000 as I pulled $5,000 out.
So we got to pull 2 blocks for that.
And then what happens? Yeah, what happens when my car breaks down? My car breaks down. I need repairs. We have to repair our vehicle. So like we have to have transportation. Okay, I have to stack that up. Okay, another month comes, I need $5,000. This is the only piece I can find that moves, right? And then life hits, right? Here's what people have to understand. It's not just your everyday income, but life still happens. You still want to have hobbies. You still need medication. You still need food. You have to pay your taxes. And so I've been pulling out of tax deferred accounts this whole time, and I'm still needing $5,000 a month. The tax man comes along. Where's that one at? Let's pull taxes out. So I've got to have taxes. Oh man.
Taxes.
That's
If
not.
Brittany pulls on those taxes.
Oh, we got to have it. Oh, the whole thing is destroyed. Because
the tower
life
crumbles.
happens, and you're left trying to put these pieces together.
It's a mess. Look at the mess.
to put these pieces together because I need medicine this month, and
gosh.
oh man, like the tower becomes a mess. And so we are very big advocates of having a strategy and having a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you are left to try to figure this Jenga puzzle out by yourself.
This is what you're left with. This disaster. You can't see life. You can't experience life. You can't do anything because you are consumed with the financial mess that you are in.
And my plea to you listening today is, don't wait until this happens before you come and see us. Because a lot of times this is what Brittany and I are left trying to piece together for folks. We want to plan earlier. We want to make sure the strategy is there before this happens, right? Not that we can't come in and help you clean this up and help you put together an income plan with the way that this looks, right? We can do that. But the problem is, a lot of times it looks different than what it would have looked like if you would have given us 2 years before you retired, or you would have come to us as you're retiring and say, before I start withdrawing these things, help me in this area. We want to strategize with you so that you don't end up with this kind of Jenga board.
So let's kind of wrap this up by talking through really briefly what that actually looks like. If you have a comprehensive financial plan, you will cover the areas that would cause all of this to fall. You would cover taxes. You would cover an investment strategy, your positioning, and how your funds are working for you. You'd have an income plan so that you pulled from the right place at the right time, right? You would have taxes covered. You'd be planning for taxes, not just paying for taxes, and then you'd have estate and legacy covered as well, to where your assets pass on to who you want them to pass on to, and that they actually receive them, not that the tax man gets more of that.
That's right.
And then healthcare, of course, you've got to have that covered. So a comprehensive plan incorporates all 5 of those pieces so that this right here does not happen. We want to help you experience life where you can maintain the tower, keep pulling the pieces from it, and keep building it and growing and experiencing life, enjoying life without the financial strain and stress of what this causes.
By the way, last question. If people feel that this has already happened to them, or this is, it's collapsed or it's a mess, are you able to put some of this back together?
1000%. Yes, this isn't a hopeless situation. This is we have to do a little bit of surgery here.
And we have to get
this rebuilt. We have to rebuild it one brick at a time, and that's what we help with every day as well. And so what I'm saying is, do not let your Jenga board get here. You spent 30 or 40 years building this beautiful tower. Let's help you put together a strategy so that it stays beautiful throughout your retirement.
Brittany and Jay, thank you so very much. I hope you had some fun today as well. Now, call that phone number, set up your time. It is no cost to come in. You can reach us there, or you can also open up your phone to the camera function pointed at this QR code, click on it, and you can schedule your own time there. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.